Hey everybody, my name's Alison H. I'm a senior here at Viewpoint School, and today I'm going to talk to you about how I learned about the power of listening in an Amazigh village in the high Atlas mountain range. For those of you whose northern African geography is a little rusty, the high Atlas mountain range is in central Morocco. So the first thing a good acting teacher is going to tell you is this: put your attention on the other person and listen truthfully. Now, I can easily apply this in acting class, on stage, or in front of a camera, but I was having great difficulty applying it in my everyday life, and I really didn't understand the importance of listening. That is until the summer of 2012. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let me backtrack a little bit. A year and a half ago, I traveled to Morocco with a literacy and language development group to work in a village in the high Atlas mountain range. Not only were we teaching English, but we were also doing an immersion program, living with families in this village. My mother, Isa, and her husband's main source of income was a small hayfield, and it was harvest time. So by 9 a.m., I'm drenched in my own sweat, and my eyes had swelled up so much from hay fever I could barely see. I'll be honest with all of you. I had never been more miserable in my entire life. Isa's daughter came down from the house and ran over towards me. She had been asleep when I arrived the previous day and asleep when I had woken up, so we hadn't met yet. She came over to me with her little thumb in her mouth and her big brown eyes staring at me inquisitively. And I felt a little awkward and was just kind of like, oh, hello. And I know this makes me a bad person, but between the jet lag, the hay fever, and the being soaked in my own sweat, I really didn't want to deal with a toddler. Isa said something to me in, sorry, I misspoke. Isa's daughter said something to me in Berber, and it didn't make any sense to me at all, so I just had this confused expression on my face and didn't reply, trying to convey to her that I didn't understand her. She said it again. I didn't reply again. She said it again. I don't understand, I said. Why did I even bother saying that? Of course she wasn't going to understand me. She was probably still learning her own language. She said it one more time, and what had sounded like gibberish to me before now sounded more like a question of sorts, and I desperately wanted to answer. She asked it one more time, and it sounded like a question we ask people when we first meet them. And don't ask me how I knew this or what came over me, but I looked her directly in the eyes and I said very slowly, Alison. She started jumping up and down and clapping her hands, and a huge smile spread across her face, and she repeated back very slowly, Alison. Then she pointed to herself and said, Selma. Selma, I said. I was thunderstruck. How had I understood this little girl? We don't even speak the same language. And those words I heard so often in acting class flashed through my head. Listen truthfully. And I realized I had listened to this little girl in that moment of pure misery more than I had listened to my friends, parents, or teachers. And they speak the same language as I do. So what's going on here? There's clearly some type of a disconnect. Here's the thing. In the last 10 years, we as a society have become increasingly more self-absorbed, and it's become very difficult for us to have those human connections that were used to be so attainable. It's not entirely our fault, though. With all the technology we have these days, that face-to-face interaction has practically become obsolete. If I want to talk to my friend, I have no need to drive to her house. I can Facebook message her, I can text her, I can IM her, I can FaceTime her. The possibilities are endless. And I usually take those possibilities versus that face-to-face interaction. And I'm sure most of us would, because it's easier, less effort. We don't really have to listen. We don't have to have that human connection. And making those connections is difficult. But these connections are what bring us together. And you would think in a world that's shrunk in the last 10 years considerably, our ability to listen to each other would have grown. But it's the opposite. So I'm going to ask you all something before I leave you today. Next time you're out in the world and someone's talking to you, put down the BlackBerry, the iPhone, the iPad, whatever it is. Put your attention on that other person and listen truthfully. Then maybe if we all do that, we'll live in a world where we not only understand those who speak our own language, but the ones who don't as well. Thank you.